when you look at self-help books or business advice or any type of life advice that you'll find, they all tell you that you need to think long-term. And yet, everything that we do, everything that develops around us is geared towards short-term thinking. There is Facebook and Instagram and TikTok videos that are 6 seconds long and require instant gratification. And of course, when we look at business, it's the short-term quarterly business goals that you have to hit. So in this world, how can we actually maintain a long-term perspective? Those are the topics that I wish to discuss in this video. And we'll do that by asking ourselves the right questions to maintain a long-term perspective. But not only that, that perspective will also help you to get better at this process of getting where you want to be, the process which we call life.
I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief.
Wherever we look, we are encouraged to look at short-term goals. The stock market reacts to quarterly results. We post on social media and we want that instant gratification of a like. And we rarely look past 6 or maybe 30 seconds of a video. And beyond all of that, it feels good. It releases dopamine in our bodies and we want more of it. And we hear and we see everywhere about the hustle culture and it makes us feel important. And then we listen to our 6 seconds or 30 seconds of a video. And they all tell us that we need to think long term. The problem is we've forgotten how to do that. Nobody has showed us. So what are we going to do about it? A typical suggestion that you will hear is start with the end in mind. And that is good advice. Yet the end becomes increasingly unpredictable. Sometimes it is ourselves who move the goalpost. Sometimes other people are moving the goalpost for us. And in the case of the 2020 pandemic, well, nature moved the goalpost for us. So should we scrap our long-term thinking? Of course not. But maybe we just need a more creative approach to it. Yes, surely we can still ask the question, where do I see my business in 5 years' time? It's a good question. But let's add to that a few other good questions as well. What about our product? What if our product is no longer needed in 5 years' time? What am I gonna do then? And what if the way we perform our business, the way we create our product or we provide our services is no longer available to me or has fundamentally changed? What are we going to do then? And most important of all, and the pandemic has taught us that, are we solving the problem for tomorrow? I see many businesses who have reopened their doors, but they have not planned properly for how exactly to do that, even though it was completely predictable that obviously at some stage the lockdown ends and we go back to work, maybe in a slightly different way. So we had to think forward, we had to solve tomorrow's problem. That is the kind of long-term thinking that also you need to think about in your business. See, when you start to go beyond just a long-term plan for your business, you end up with something far more fundamental. You look at the process of how you are doing business. And that's a great starting point to think long-term. I provide business advice here on YouTube, but I also like creativity. I like cost-effective processes and I like systems that captivate the imagination of people. And those are the things that regardless of my content, I will still want to incorporate because it's things I love, it's things I care about. And those are actually the things that make my service or my business advice or my business unique. It's not the product, but it's how we do our business. And you know what? I started to enjoy it. And I started to enjoy the process of providing that service. So start to think about what connects all these 3 questions that we asked in your business. And you will realize that it is not your product that makes you unique, but it's the way of how you do business. And if you start focusing on that part, then you will also think more long term. In a moment, we talk about how that may also help you personally and how you integrate those long-term goals into your personal life. But before we do that, let's look at an opportunity. Do you notice that with our short-term business approach, we very often cater to the needs of our clients? We form bespoke solutions. We love bespoke. It makes you feel client-centric. It makes you feel like you have a can-do attitude. But over time, you will also realize that it'll eat up a lot of your resources and money. And this is where your long-term thinking can help you. Have a business review and ask yourself the question, if we just continue what we are doing today, are we still profitable in 10 years' time? And if that isn't the case, then ask yourself, what is it that we can do slowly but steadily today to get to a stage of profitability? Yes, maybe you still have to do a few things bespoke to some important clients, but you will be far more conscious of the resources that it'll eat up. And you'll be far more conscious to focus on the things that you're really good at and maybe outsource the rest. So your long-term thinking about not the profitability at the end of this quarter, but your profitability in 10 years' time will help you to determine what the best processes are for your business today. As promised, let's look at a few personal aspects of long-term thinking. So, of course, we have our short-term goals. No way around that. And we also have our long-term business goals. But there is one question that we often forget, and I see that with entrepreneurs all of the time, where we forget to ask, are my long-term business goals also aligned, also able to integrate with what I want from my personal life? And you might say now, well, listen, that's a choice I don't have at the moment. I need the money, I need the job, I have to feed my family, I have to work for a living. So it's all well and good in theory, but in practice, I don't have a choice. And I'm not suggesting that like tomorrow you go and quit your job and only pursue what makes you happy. But you have to still pursue what is fulfilling to you, what is meaningful to you. And in order to do that, you will have to ask those tough questions. Do my long-term business goals still align with my life? Because if the answer is no, then the price of that might be just a tiny bit too high. Let me give you an example. At some stage, I didn't quite know what I wanted to do. I had a great finance career and I enjoyed that very much. But I enjoy a lot of other things too. And I was flying small airplanes, so I thought to myself, well, let me do that for a while. And I went off and pursued a commercial airline career, which I eventually achieved. But more importantly, at this point, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do other than that there are many things around it. And pursuing this commercial flying career seemed to align with my personal goals because it's something I enjoy and it is something that I find pleasurable. But in the process of that, I also realized that I started to really enjoy talking to business people about their businesses, talking to entrepreneurs about ideas. And I realized that I love that variety, and so today I'm in a position where I can still fly planes, but I have the opportunity to speak to entrepreneurs, to speak to all of you here on this channel and pursue the things that I find stimulating for my mind as well. And so suddenly what I do in my life, even though I haven't stopped working per se. I continued in my finance career, did some consulting, and I continued to work for an airline. I suddenly got the freedom to also pursue other things that I personally find meaningful. And that is something that you can do yourself when you ask yourself those long-term questions. How does it fit together with your life. Today, I, for example, can pursue this career from almost anywhere in the world. Is that something that's important to you or not? I can run my business probably with very few other people around me. And that is something that you might find great or you might find awful because you love the social aspect of going to an office. So ask yourself the long-term question. Are my business goals aligned with what I can and want to achieve in my life? On this channel we have short-term and long-term goals as well. Short-term, if you enjoy this particular video, hit that like button because I really appreciate it. And long-term, well, we talk about businesses here, we talk to entrepreneurs about cost-effective solutions, creative solutions, systems that are captivating to the people around you, because those are the things that excite me. And if they excite you, consider subscribing. That would be a great long-term goal. And here's a practical tip for you. I do set myself goals and I have expectations, and sometimes I see them unfulfilled and I find it frustrating. Maybe you do as well. But then I found a quote that really inspired me. It inspired me so much that I made a video around it, so I'll link it on the screen right now. If you are interested in that topic, I will see you over there, and otherwise I'll see you in the next video.